Welcome to the introduction of the principles of management. This is Chapter 1. Section 1.5. Economical, social, and environmental performance. In this video presentation, we need to stay focused on our learning objectives. And our learning objectives are 1. To understand economic, social, and environmental performance. 2. To understand the relationship between economic performance and social and environmental performance. According to Webster's dictionary, performance is the execution of an action and something accomplished. Management principles assist you in better understanding the inputs into critical organizational outcomes, such as a firm's economic performance. Economic performance is essential to a firm's stakeholders, particularly its investors or owners, because it provides a return on their investment. In addition, other stakeholders, such as the firm's employees and society at large, are thought to benefit indirectly from such performance. However, it appears increasingly clear that non-economic achievements, such as reducing waste and pollution, are also essential performance indicators. This medium is why the concept of the triple bottom line is gaining traction in the business press. The triple bottom line essentially refers to measuring business performance along social, environmental, and economic dimensions. We introduce you to economic, social, and environmental performance, and conclude the section with a brief discussion of financial performance's interdependence with other types of performance. Economic performance. In a traditional sense, a firm's economic performance is a function of its success in producing benefits for its owners specifically, through product innovation and efficient resource use. When you talk about this type of economic performance in a business context, most people assume you're talking about profit. The difference between revenue and the opportunity cost of all resources used to produce the items sold is defined as economic profit. As costs, this definition includes implicit returns. For our purposes, it may be easiest to think of economic profit as a type of accounting profit, in which gains are achieved when revenues exceed the accounting cost the firm pays for those inputs. In other words, your company makes a profit when its revenues exceed its costs over a set time, such as 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Before moving on to social and environmental performance, it is important to note that customers play a significant role in economic profits. Profits accrue to businesses because customers are willing to pay a certain price for a product or service, instead of a competitor's product or service at a higher or lower price. If customers are only willing to make purchases based on price, then a firm will only be able to generate profit if it keeps its costs under control, at least in the face of competition. Social and environmental performance. You've learned a bit about economic performance and the factors that influence it. For example, you saw that economic performance is associated with profits for most organizations, and profits are heavily influenced by how much customers are willing to pay for a good or service. It is also helpful to consider social and environmental performance as forms of profit, specifically social and environmental gain. The topics of social and environmental performance are increasingly receiving their courses in school curricula. In the business world, they are referred to collectively as corporate social responsibility, CSR. CSR is a concept in which organizations consider society's interests by taking responsibility for the impact of their operations on customers, suppliers, employees, shareholders, communities, and the environment in all aspects of their operations. This obligation is seen as going beyond the statutory obligation to comply with legislation, with organizations voluntarily taking additional steps to improve the quality of life for employees and their families, and the local community, and society at large. Ben & Jerry's and S.C. Johnson are two companies that have long led the way in CSR. Many of the facets just described are captured in their statements about why they do this, which are summarized in Table 1.1. Examples of leading firms with strong CSR orientations. Table 1.1. Examples of leading firms with strong CSR orientations. Why we do it. Ben & Jerry's, we've taken time each year since 1989 to compile this report, because we continue to believe that it keeps us in touch with our company's stated social mission. By raising the profile of social and environmental matters inside the company, and recording the impact of our work on the community, this report aids us in our search for business decisions that support all three parts of our company mission statement: economic, product, and social. In addition, the report is an important source of information about the company for students, journalists, prospective employees, and other interested observers. In this way, It helps us in our quest to keep our values, our actions, and public perceptions in alignment. S.C. Johnson. It's nice to live next door to a family that cares about its neighbors, and at S.C. Johnson, we are committed to being a good neighbor and contributing to the well-being of the countries and the communities where we conduct business. We have a wide variety of efforts to drive global development and growth that benefit the people around us and the planet we all share. From exceptional philanthropy and volunteerism to new business models that bring economic growth to the world's poorest communities, we're helping to create stronger communities for families around the globe. Figure 1.9 Environmentally Neutral Design. END. Creates shoes intending to eliminate the excess material required to make a shoe, resulting in a less expensive and lighter shoe than other performance shoes on the market. Integrating economic, social, and environmental performance. Is it possible to achieve a triple bottom line in a way that improves all three aspects of performance: economic, social, and environmental? CSR proponents understandably argue that this is possible and should be the standard by which all businesses are evaluated. The evidence is mounting that focusing on a triple bottom line is more than just being responsible, but rather just good business. Critics argue that CSR detracts from business's fundamental economic role. Others claim it is nothing more than a show of good faith. Still, others say it is an attempt to preempt government's role as a watchdog over powerful multinational corporations. While there is no systematic evidence to support such a claim, a recent review of nearly 170 research studies on the relationship between CSR and firm performance found no evidence of adverse shareholder effects. Instead, this report found a slight positive relationship between CSR and shareholder returns. Similarly, companies that pay good wages and provide good benefits to attract and retain high-caliber employees are not just being socially responsible, they are simply practicing good management. The financial benefits of social or environmental CSR initiatives differ, depending on the context. In the consumer products and services market, for example, environmentally friendly strategies are much more complicated. For example, The Body Shop, a cosmetics retailer, and Star-Kissed Seafood Company, a strategic business unit of Heinz Food, pursued environmental strategies, but only the former was victorious. Nevertheless, The Body Shop goes to great lengths to ensure that its operations are environmentally sustainable. Somewhere in our discussion of CSR is the idea of resolving an environmental or social problem, the organization's primary goal. Cascade Asset Management, CAM, is an example. CAM was founded in April 1999 in Madison, Wisconsin. Its roots can be traced back to the University of Wisconsin's entrepreneurship program, where the owners worked together to develop and finance the initial business plan. CAM is a for-profit private enterprise, established to provide for the environmentally responsible disposal of computers and other electronics generated by Wisconsin businesses and institutions. The founders could apply their skills and education to this new and developing industry because of their experience and relationships in surplus asset disposition and computer hardware maintenance. Firms are willing to pay for CAM services because the disposal of surplus personal computers, PCs, is recognized as risky and heavily regulated due to the numerous toxic materials embedded in most components. The story of CAM is also credible, whereas Star-Kissed had trouble selling its CSR story. The company was a founding signatory to the Electronic Recyclers Pledge of True Stewardship. The pledge's signatories pledge to uphold the highest environmental and economic sustainability standards in their respective industries. Through their operations and partnerships, they are expected to demonstrate their commitment. The pledge's basic principles are as follows: no export of untested products, or hazardous components, or commodities, CRTs, circuit boards, to developing countries, no use of prison labor, adherence to an environmental and worker safety management system, regular testing and audits to ensure compliance, and support efforts to encourage producers to make their products less polluting. CAM has quickly expanded, now serving over 500 business and institutional clients across the country. While it is known as one of the nation's leaders in responsible one-stop IT asset disposal, its success is attracting new entrants like IBM. They see PC recycling as another profitable service they can offer their existing client base. Congratulations! You are now at the end of the presentation. Let's take a look at the key takeaway. Organizational performance can be viewed along three dimensions: financial, social, and environmental, collectively referred to as the triple bottom line. The latter two dimensions are included in the definition of CSR. While there remains debate about whether organizations should consider environmental and social impacts when making business decisions, there is increasing pressure to include such CSR activities in what constitutes sound management principles. This pressure is based on arguments that range from CSR helps attract and retain the best and brightest employees, to show that the firm is being responsive to market demands, to observations about how some environmental and social needs represent great entrepreneurial business opportunities in and of themselves. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share our messages. Have a nice day.